Today, we'll head to Lake Houston Wilderness Park, where we'll embark on a 10-mile day paddle on Caney Creek, a tributary within the East Fork San Jacinto River watershed that leads to Lake Houston. The park is located at 25840 FM 1485 in New Caney, Texas. The name Lake Houston Wilderness Park might prove a bit misleading to some, as the park does not directly front the lake at any point, though it does provide access to waterways leading there. It provides visitors with plenty of trails to traverse, along with campsites, cabins, and pavilions. The launch is a rather primitive affair, which is well suited to the park's wilderness-oriented aesthetic. Just be mindful that some of the write-ups online make it sound much simpler to get your craft to the water than is actually the case. The distance from the parking area is not too substantial, but there are several uneven grades to navigate to reach the sandbar launch. It's doable for most, especially if you have a paddling partner along. For solo paddlers like myself, however, it took some slow and calculated footwork to move my 14-foot Wilderness Systems Commander into position. With that out of the way, here's a quick overview of our route for today. We'll launch onto Peach Creek, where we'll bear left. This will almost immediately lead us onto Caney Creek, where we'll elect to maintain a southward heading. The creek's aesthetic is fairly consistent throughout, which isn't a bad thing, as nearly the entire route is a pristine waterway filled with secluded East Texas ambiance. The initial section is fairly shallow, and I scraped bottom with my paddle several times due to substantial sandbars that jut out just beneath the waterline along this somewhat narrower section. Wildlife was pretty sparse today, likely due to the heat, with the exception of the dozens of egrets and handful of herons that dotted the route throughout. There was also a harmless broad-banded water snake traveling the waterway, but it disappeared before I could get the camera focused. Winds were minimal at the outset, providing soft currents that made the trek all but effortless initially. As with many Gulf Coast inland routes, the variety of trees is substantial. On today's trek alone, there were sycamores, elms, water oaks, sweet gums, and, most imposing of all, the towering stands of pine that seemed to dominate more of the landscape the farther south I traveled. While there are many similarities between the coastal bayous and these more northern waterways, one noticeable distinction is the abundance of pines mingled among the common wet bottomland hardwoods. I still have plenty to learn in this regard, and trips like today's always provide opportunities to gain some new, nature-oriented knowledge. The creek eventually widens and deepens considerably, offering what felt more like a calm river trek than a creek paddle. There is no shortage of natural debris along this route, so be mindful of branches that are commonly found just beneath the waterline or emerging slightly above it. There are several shaded, arbor-like stretches along the banks that provide substantial relief from the Texas summer sun and make for some great POV paddling shots as well. Approximately a mile and a half into the trip, we'll come to a relatively unassuming fork to starboard. This narrow waterway will lead us onto a small lake that was once part of the Texas frac sand materials operation. Interestingly, if you look at a satellite map, you'll notice a couple of corresponding pools that bear a striking turquoise color, which is said to be the result of a high chloride content. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, considering the potential chemistry of those waters, they're not accessible. After traveling around a small island in the center of this former sand mining lake, we'll head back onto Caney Creek and continue along our original southward heading. The waterway continues through a series of very gentle bends, lined with the aforementioned piney woods ambiance and interspersed with the occasional sandbar. Around mile 4, we'll notice a confluence to port. This is the East Fork of the San Jacinto River. Here, you're likely to encounter powered craft making their way toward Lake Houston through Caney Creek's less obstructed expanses. Just a heads up, I didn't encounter a single boat whose operator gave any apparent consideration to the wake being produced. Still, the waterway is wide enough that it was merely an annoyance rather than a serious detriment. We'll continue straight past the San Jacinto junction. My initial plan had been to make it all the way to Lake Houston, and I wasn't too far away. However, it was getting late rather quickly, and I recalled that Lake Houston Wilderness Park closes at 6 o'clock on Mondays. I started to turn back here, but elected to call the park to see whether I would be able to exit after hours. Thankfully, I was told that the exit gate would remain in service until 7:30. It still would have been cutting things close to continue all the way to the lake, so I decided to split the difference and travel southward a bit longer. I'm glad I did, as it provided a complementary dynamic to the paddle overall. Looking at the map revealed a moderate circuit that I deemed a good compromise for the day's timeline. With that, we'll bear right onto the first section of the circuit, a starboard entry point onto a small branch that led through egret-lined waters and past a few quaint homes and boat shelters. Following this short section will lead us back onto Caney Creek, still heading south. We'll pass what appears to be a small beach park to port, and shortly thereafter, hook left into what would appear to be nothing more than a cove from a paddler's perspective. A satellite view, however, indicated otherwise. This unassuming spot turned out to be one of my favorite detours of the trip because of its isolated and more intimate atmosphere. The waterway will hook to the right, where we'll paddle through the most charming passage of the trek as the water narrows and the trees overhang the route. This detour of slightly more than a mile will put us back onto Caney Creek at the East Fork San Jacinto River intersection, where we'll officially begin our return trek through those now familiar forest passages that greeted us only a few hours earlier. Other than a couple of anglers along the bank, we'll be left to our thoughts all the way back to the sandbar launch at Lake Houston Wilderness Park, concluding a respectable 10-mile trip. My final thoughts on this trek are as follows. It was a pleasant and peaceful paddle for the most part. The winds did increase a bit farther into the trip, and the wider expanses of Caney Creek could prove challenging during periods of high wind. On a fair weather day, I see the journey itself being manageable for most paddlers. The only potential exception is the launch, as mentioned earlier. Able-bodied paddlers should be able to navigate this obstacle carefully, but it could prove challenging for others, especially when getting the craft back up to the parking area, as my less than graceful yet effective exit today attests. Other than that, I would recommend this route, provided conditions are favorable. One advantage of this launch is that it offers more options than just today's route, which I'll be documenting as soon as I get the chance. Bearing north on Caney Creek will offer miles of new terrain to explore. Following today's route, but bearing left onto the East Fork, will offer the same. Bearing right onto Peach Creek from the launch will lead through the park itself and beyond, although I've heard that this route may require portaging when water levels are even slightly low. Overall, Caney Creek offers a unique mixture of Texas bottomland bayou and piney woods river atmosphere. Give it a shot, paddle safely, and God bless.